And I'm seeing your things we must be familiar with slide.
Okay. All right, here let me make sure I got my stuff together. It's time for me to record mine. Okay.
Okay, well, here we go again. And we just want to welcome all of you to this call. We appreciate you taking time out of your Saturday morning to join us. This is Sherry Plett. I'm here with Dr. David with Building Strength Webinars. And our topic today is going to be about understanding the human brain. And I know, David, that's a topic that you've been interested in for many years. In fact, you at one point even considered being a neuro brain surgeon. And so as we get started, why don't you just tell us, why is it so important that people know how the human brain works?
Well, thanks. That is probably the number one question, really, for health and for longevity. And I want to start with really a story. You remember that college professor who came down to Tulsa, where I stayed for sabbatical. He was here for about 6 months, right? Remember that guy?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, he a racquetball player. He's in his 60s, but he has been extremely fit and healthy most of his life. He actually swam for the state of Texas, which, as we all know, is the largest state in the United States, after Alaska. And he's been extremely fit. He's also a top racquetball player, and in the regionals, recent regionals, he came first place. He beat all the guys 30 years below, and his age group, he beat everybody and won the prize. So he's what you would call the supreme athlete. But anyway, he and I used to play like 2-3 times a week when he was here, and well, I would say 3 out of 5 games he would beat me, and sometimes I'll pull a victory here and there, but for the most part, he used to beat me. But one time, I think after my chiropractic visit, and the chiropractic assistant, he gave me this bottle of water. It's called the Perfect Water. Something about it's better mineralization. It's alkalinized. Something about it that the chiropractic assistant said would help me out. So he just told me to take it before I go into the game. So I said, well, I thought it was another scam. So I said I was just going to go in and just humor him and take it. So I took it and drank it. And throughout the game, from time to time, I'll drink it. And it didn't feel different, really. I was just like, okay, yeah, I feel hydrated. That's all. But as I got in, I have to tell you, Gary, I was all over the court. I was hopping up and down the court like a kangaroo on crack. I was like all over the place.
Did it improve your game?
Did it improve my game? I have to tell you, I was thinking better. I had more energy. I could get to the ball faster than before. And even when I got to the ball, I could think of the numerous options I had to hit the ball, whereas before I would just play on instinct. This time I was actually thinking well and really getting shots. And I beat him like 4-1.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. He couldn't believe it. And the only thing that changed was, of course, the fact that I had some of that water. And that got me thinking. And I'm always thinking about things like this. But I realized that it wasn't that I didn't have the skill. It wasn't that I didn't have the energy before. It wasn't that I did not hit a ball all the times he was beating me. It was that I had them, but I wasn't able to access them. I wasn't able to think as effectively. And something about this quality water was what enabled me to tap into my brain power and my physical power, energy to be able to beat him the way I did. And that began to show me that we have a lot more in us and in our bodies and in our minds and our brains than we are actually on a daily basis taken advantage of. And so why study the human brain? Well, like the last quote said from Daniel Amen, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that doctor because he is one of the, by looking at the way the brain works, that I know. And when it comes to about the human brain and why we should study the human brain, it just shows me that I keep getting this call coming in. Okay, excuse me. Somebody was interrupt me here from another call. But the bottom line is to survive and thrive in this world, we must continually receive and accurately process the right kind of information. Our abilities are already there in us. If the brain isn't functioning well, we will not be able to tap into that ability. And that ability includes healing ability. That ability also includes your mental cognitive ability. Many of the problems that we have in the world today, whether with kids, ADD, ADHD, elderly people, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease being the most common, and of course memory loss, which happens with age. But many of these things really are because of a problem somewhere, either in the brain chemicals or in the brain structure or brain function. So we're going to look at all these, and we're going to try and see, give people the basic principles for knowing how to take care of their brain. For the most part, we have not been taught that. And I know last couple of weeks we talked about the heart and how to help the heart be strengthened and how important the heart is. But still, the most important organ is the brain. Why? Because we can replace practically every other organ in the body. We have not yet developed the technology to replace the human brain. So obviously it is the master control system. It is what I call generalissimo, the governator, the head honcho, all the things you want to talk about it. And again, there are two obstacles to vibrant health and longevity: ignorance and complacency. Are you seeing the screen?
Yep.
Okay, good. So again, we have to search for information that will help us, especially now with regards to the brain. And you can see the place the brain holds. I particularly I named it the hypothalamus, and we're going to see why I chose the hypothalamus out of all the other structures in the brain as the main center we have to be aware of. The hypothalamus collects information from all the rest of the body, all the subconscious things, digestive system, circulatory system, and it receives that. Also, it integrates the information from your thoughts, your emotions, the environment, the five senses. It integrates all that inside it, and it responds on a moment by split-second basis. So that's why the brain's up there. But you can see that it holds a preeminent position after your mind and your emotions in controlling the activities of the human body. Have a more complex diagram here again, because the hypothalamus not only functions through the endocrine system, but it also functions through what we know is the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic, of course, means that same word you get automatic from, which basically means that things that go on without our conscious control. So the hypothalamus or the brain controls both the endocrine system and the brain stem and goes all the way down. And remember, as these arrows show, there is constant, continuous feedback. In other words, it continually receives information and it transfers that information. So that is why the brain has to be healthy. It has to be strong to be able to do what it was made to do. Now, basically, we're just going to do a little overview of the brain. Notes are going to be available soon. I apologize that some of these things aren't coming out as quickly as they should. Last week, and I'm still in the middle of a move, so everything is really up in the air, and boy, so many things we're trying to get taken care of. But your notes will be ready soon. I have made some adjustments to these slides. So if there are some things that you feel, oh, well, I need to get the most updated slides for today, you can just ask Sherry, and she's going to send you more slides, the updated ones. The ones that you've purchased already have most of them, but I think I added like four more slides to it.
Okay.
All right, let's talk about the human brain organ, but there are actually 20 different organs in the human brain, all performing different functions. The human brain is made of about 80% water, weighs about 3 pounds. It constitutes about 2% of our body weight, but, check this out, but it uses about 20% of the oxygen and calories that you take in, and yet it takes about 20%. A fifth of the total oxygen, energy, calories that you take in has to go to the human brain. As a matter of fact, over 50% of all our genes in the body, all the genes in the body, over 50%.
Oh.
Yeah, wow. And yet it constitutes only 2%. So there is a huge amount of information and energy and attention devoted to the brain. Whatever will happen, you cannot replace the human brain, because that is where so much happens. We also detect centers in the brain that are devoted to spirituality, your perception of God, or possession of your creator or whatever it is, there are actually sites in the brain that light up that people can see that actually is working. A couple of other things. Men have a slightly larger brain. Their brains are about 10% larger than ladies' brains. However, the female brain has many more nerve connections per neuron. We're going to see those connections in a little bit. And it has an anatomically larger corpus callosum. That's what I'm pointing to right here. The corpus callosum is what connects the right hemisphere. In the last few years, we've heard about right brain thinking and left brain thinking. Right brain refers to your ability to see the big picture. Left brain refers to focuses more on detail, on words. The speech center of the brain is actually in the left brain. But anyway, we don't want to go into too much detail about that. But basically, the corpus callosum, like I said, connects the two brains. An adult brain has about 50,000 connections with other neurons. Larger neurons can have as many as 120,000 connections. Now, female brains need more energy than males because they have more connections, more aspects of the nutrients, and more oxygen.